Dad grew up on a farm south of Topeka here. We used to work for the state of Kansas while he was going to school. And there's at least one highway in Kansas, Highway 18. The Dad was the original laid this road out and paved it. And he was in charge of the whole thing. That was before he had an engineering degree. Then he after he graduated from college, he ended up working for Allis-Chalmers. And was an engineer for them and traveled quite a bit for them. There's a lot of stories. And I even tell one about when one day, when the guy in the next office to Dad came in and says, "Hey, Tommy, look, there's an Allis-Chalmers picture, or calendar in between Ike and Roosevelt, Montgomery and Montgomery and Churchill." And it was taken in North Africa. And Dad says, "Yeah, and if you look close, that's me on the tractor." And I've seen the picture. He tells stories about one day in '36 they delivered a whole bunch of motor graders to New York City. And they used him to transport it from down one of the major highways. And it was snow all over the road, and the cops would see him coming, they just stop all traffic and flag him on through. Dad had a work permit that he carried in his billfold up till just before he died. He had all kinds of stuff in there. We went through it one night. The way I knew about it was we'd got him a new billfold for Christmas one year. The kids did. And when they were pretty small, and he was changing it out. Dad, he was just kind of proud of it. But still, I can remember that. I always wanted to get that after he died, and he'd clean his billfold out. Yeah, I missed that. Dad was a pretty good judge of character, and one of the reasons that he left Allis-Chalmers was he could spend a little time visiting with a guy and he could figure out whether he'd take a bribe or not. And Dad just wasn't that way. And they wanted him to tell him whether he would take a bribe or not, and Dad says, "No," he quit. Then he came, when he quit that job and came out here, and he worked at Sunflower down here with the ordnance plant for a while. It went to the start of the war, somewhere in there, and then he was civilian engineer in charge of built Forbes originally. He'd seen one of the alfalfa dehydrators in the valley that was owned by Ed Jones Electric here in Topeka, the company then, and saw that it was quite profitable. And in the war effort, you could get the steel to do this because it was part of the food program. And so you could get the steel to do it. Anything to do with food in those days, Dad saw that, and he used my granddad as an investor. He'd retired at that point. He was he'd been a farmer all his life, and he'd retired from the farm. He retired somewhere around the end of the war in about 45. It was my dad, my uncle, and my grandfather. And my dad was Walter T. Thompson. He went by Ted. And my grandfather was Walter Thompson. And my uncle was Clarence Colling.